Libya, early 2000s. Muammar Gaddafi sits atop a vast fortune derived from the country's oil wealth. His regime is authoritarian, secretive, and deeply invested in extending influence abroad. Gaddafi understands the value of soft power, and he employs a strategy as old as politics itself. Gifts, favors, and financial incentives. Reports surfaced that millions of dollars in cash, gold bars, and luxury gifts were sent to European politicians, officials, and influential figures. France, Italy, and Switzerland emerge as key destinations, with allegations that these funds secured favorable policies, contracts, and diplomatic support. The process is highly clandestine. Transfers are routed through shell companies, offshore accounts, and charitable foundations, creating layers of secrecy. For years, these transactions remain hidden, but investigative journalists begin to uncover fragments, shipment records, bank statements, and testimonies from former Libyan officials who fled after the fall of Gaddafi. In France, the case draws intense scrutiny. Nicolas Sarkozy, who served as president from 2007 to 2012, is implicated in receiving illicit funds from Gaddafi. Allegations include gold coins, cash-filled envelopes, and luxurious gifts, all intended to influence campaign financing and diplomatic support for Libya. The accusations shocked the nation. European democracy, long regarded as stable, now faces questions about integrity at the highest levels. Italy is no less affected. Prosecutors examined contracts for oil, infrastructure, and construction projects, suspecting that some awards were influenced by Gaddafi's payments. Swiss banks, traditionally secretive, become central to investigations. They allegedly held accounts for intermediaries, providing anonymity and security for the transfer of illicit funds. The investigative trail is complex. European authorities must navigate a labyrinth of legal frameworks, international banking laws, and diplomatic sensitivities. Testimonies from former aides of Gaddafi reveal systematic corruption. Gifts were not optional. Politicians who failed to comply were excluded from lucrative deals, effectively paying a price for independence. Journalists and investigators pieced together records showing millions in gold and cash flowing through various channels. Some funds were converted into luxury real estate, high-end vehicles, and other assets, masking their origins and purpose. In France, prosecutors opened formal inquiries into alleged illegal campaign financing linked to Gaddafi's donations. Investigators examined suspicious campaign contributions, luxury properties, and intermediaries tied to the Libyan regime. High-profile politicians are called to testify. Some deny wrongdoing outright, others remain silent, citing diplomatic immunity or legal protection. Swiss authorities freeze accounts and begin investigating banks that may have facilitated these transfers. Multinational companies that enabled the movement of funds come under scrutiny. Legal experts warn that prosecuting cross-border financial crimes is exceptionally difficult, particularly when political immunity, international law, and banking secrecy intersect. Media coverage grows relentless. Citizens across Europe demand accountability and transparency. In Italy, prosecutors examined public contracts awarded to companies linked to politicians suspected of benefiting from Gaddafi's. Evidence shows a culture of expectation. Compliance was rewarded, resistance punished. Access to Libya's oil wealth and economic opportunities hinged upon participation in this system of favoritism. By the mid-2010s, Nicolas Sarkozy faces charges in France related to the acceptance of millions in cash from Gaddafi. Swiss banks, too, face regulatory scrutiny, exposing gaps in oversight that allowed illicit financial flows to thrive. Testimonies, bank records, and investigative journalism piece together a troubling picture. Political influence can be bought. International borders are porous when it comes to corruption, and the consequences extend far beyond individual politicians. The Gaddafi gold trail is a lesson in both ambition and caution. Gifts, favoritism, and financial manipulation allowed a dictator to extend his influence deep into Europe. The scandal illustrates how personal gain, state interests, and clandestine financial networks can intersect to create a web of corruption that challenges legal systems, erodes public trust, and threatens the integrity of democratic institutions. Even years after Gaddafi's fall, investigations continue. European courts still process cases related to illicit funding. Politicians, banks, and intermediaries remain under the microscope. The full extent of Gaddafi's financial empire and its European connections continues to emerge slowly, piece by piece. In the end, the Gaddafi gold trail is more than a story about money. It is a story about power, influence, and the fragility of democracy in the face of systemic corruption. It serves as a cautionary tale for politicians, bankers, and citizens alike. When wealth and ambition intersect without transparency, the consequences reverberate across borders and generations, leaving a legacy of mistrust, scandal, and the enduring challenge of holding the powerful accountable.